Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. The Atlantic is lighting up.
It sure is, and tracking the tropics takes a team effort here today. Meteorologist Erica Delgado and Chief Meteorologist Phil Farrow are watching the disturbance in the distance and much more. And Phil starts us off this afternoon. Phil.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Take a look at all the activity across the Atlantic basin. 5 areas that we are watching, from extremely strong Hurricane Fiona all the way to a brand new tropical wave in the middle of the Atlantic. But the feature that we're focusing on is right here, a tropical wave that could be our next named system. Now, it is already an invest with 35-mile-an-hour winds. It is moving to the west at around 21 miles per hour, but you will notice that it is elongated and there's plenty of clear skies to the north. That's because it is being impacted by some very strong upper-level winds known as shear, and as long as that is around, the system here, or the wave, doesn't really have too much of a chance to get its act together. Now, let's take a look at what the National Hurricane Center is saying. They think that by the time it gets into the Caribbean, that shear will go away, and they're giving it a 90% chance that it could become our next named system. There is a Hurricane Hunter mission set for tonight. Meanwhile, the spaghetti models have this wave moving across the Caribbean. But take a look at this. The models start to fan out. When that happens, that usually means that they don't have a good handle on it quite yet. So everyone from the Yucatan all the way through Florida should just keep their eyes on it. Nothing to worry about right now, but there is plenty of juice out there for the system to intensify. Look at all this hot water, even a pocket there with temperatures close to 90, anything over 80, and it's a good chance for them to grow. Plenty of heavy rain across the Windward Islands and Venezuela, possible flooding and mudslides. Couple of case scenarios here. Scenario number 1 has a tropical wave tracking south. It could interact with land here with Venezuela. It could fall apart or even dump a lot of rain and slow down and then develop down the road. Scenario number 2 has the system tracking towards the north. Nothing here to interrupt its potential development. We could have a much stronger system developing rather rapidly. Here are your headlines with Invest 98L. Heavy rain now across the islands, and then next, watching for possible development into the Caribbean Sea, and finally later down the road, monitoring the models to get a better handle on a possible track. But what will the impacts be across the islands? Here's meteorologist Erica Delgado with more.
Well, Phil, you mentioned the heavy rain already across the Windward Islands. Just because the system hasn't developed into a tropical system just yet doesn't mean there isn't a lot of tropical moisture with it. And we're seeing that moisture pushing through the Windward Islands. Heavy rain and thunderstorms will be possible through tonight into tomorrow. Flooding will be a concern across the Windward Islands, where we could see rainfall amounts up to 3 to 6 inches. Of course, it could also produce larger waves due to the gusty winds. Now, as far as Trinidad and Tobago, also some heavy rain through tonight and into tomorrow with the flood potential. Because the system is so far south, just hugging that coast of South America, Venezuela could also get gusty winds and heavy rain into the day tomorrow. Further ahead, once the system does move into the Caribbean and we do see some development, in the Cayman Islands and in Jamaica, we'll have to watch to see with a tropical depression or storm nearby. Now, as far as other storms, is what we have as well. Hurricane Fiona with winds of 130 miles per hour, still a powerful Category 4 hurricane moving towards the north, a little over 600 miles to the southwest of Bermuda, where a hurricane watch and a tropical storm warning remains in effect. Tropical storm conditions expected there as early as late Thursday. We also have Tropical Storm Gaston with winds of 65 miles per hour. This one's going to meander over the north central Atlantic through the next couple days, come awfully close to the Azores, but produce a swell as we head into the weekend. We also have a tropical wave that's forecast to emerge off of Africa in the next couple of days, and a tropical depression could form between the Cape Verde Islands and Africa as it moves northward. Lastly, we have another tropical wave that we're watching today as well across the central Atlantic to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Has some dry air surrounding, but we could see some development, slow development through the next couple of days as it moves towards the west-northwest. It's the very latest. I'll have much more in a few minutes.